Hello and welcome. Let's talk about the installation manual. So in order for you to get your project up and running, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clone our GitHub repository. This is the URL that you need to clone it. So you're going to click here. I like SmartGit, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to paste the URL right here. And finally, the Git repo is going to be in a demo folder. Let's open the browser and let's Google for WAMP. WAMP server will allow us to have a web server, a MySQL instance, and a PHP environment. So you can get it for 32 bits or for 64 bits. After you download it, you have to start WAMP server by clicking it. Then it'll show down here. If it shows green, that means that everything's okay. Get your instead of WAMP for MySQL running. And in here, you're going to execute your database script. So let's go ahead and do it. You will go to the clone repository you just cloned and get the SQL dump with the database script. So before this, let's go ahead and let's branch out of the master. Now my current develop branch should have your current master branch. That's why I'm branching out of master into develop, so I can recreate this scenario and get the file that you need. Once you execute this query, you're going to have a job for database. If it does not execute, then you can type create database if not exists, and you copy the database name semicolon at the end. Save the script, or you can just run it. Once you have your MySQL environment ready, then it's time to go back and set up our web server. The way it works is that whatever is on this www folder you can have access to, but since the name of our website it's called job fair, we have to create a symbolic link to where demo code website is, so you can reach this index.php, and that symbolic link has to be named job fair, otherwise it's not going to work. So let's start command prompt with administrator privilege, and let's navigate to our www folder. So in here, we're going to create a symbolic link. Since I already have one, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So let's create another one. mklink /D. Our name is going to be job fair, and the address of that link is going to be demo code website right here. Click enter. Now if we go to our www folder, we see we have a link there. The other thing you have to do is to load that project in your NetBeans. So let's go ahead and do that. Open NetBeans. First thing we're going to do is we're going to import a project. So file, open project, and we're going to navigate to where the Git repository is, which is in my case is C WAMP www demo. The only modification you will have to do here is changing the access to your database, and that is done in protected config main.php. So you will have to rename this file to main.php and leave it like that. Then open it, then scroll down to the end, and in here where it says connection, you would type in the database name you just created. If you're using a remote host, you have to type in your host IP address or your host address. Then this is your username and this is your password. So in my case, I'm going to use root, and I have no password, so that's going to be, I will save it, and that's about it. Now let's go ahead and see if, let's restart all services for my WAMP. By the way, if you have two MySQL instances, you have to stop the one that it doesn't say WAMP MySQL. So once WAMP is green, you can open a new browser and navigate to localhost job fair. You should be able to go in. So congratulations, you just had your instance of the virtual job fair project up and running. I'm going to give you a quick heads up. This is your Git repo, and from here it's gonna show you everything that you have modified. You can commit, you can merge, you can create new branches, you can tag versions, you can see a log of all the merges I've done so far. So now let's talk about Solar. So Solar is a web server that we downloaded with our Git package, with our Git repository that we just downloaded. So let's go ahead and go to demo, go to code, go to website, go to Solar, go to server. So this start.jar is the one you have to start. So let's navigate to this address. So you would say cd, go to address, and then to start the Solar server you have to do java-jar, and this would start your Solar server. Now you don't close this window, because as soon as you close it, the server goes off. You need to leave it open. In your Linux environment, it's always going to be running through no-hoop command. So here, let's leave this open and let's navigate to see our new search engine website. So let's open a new window and let's say localhost. I'm going to say semicolon 8983, which is a port, and then we're going to do /solar. You hit enter. This is the instance. Let's see if we have any core. We have a job DB core created. When you click on it, you can import data from here, full import, delta import. You can do queries. So let's see what do we have now. Right now we have nothing indexed, so let's do data import. And as soon as you do data import and you do execute, you're gonna import your data. So nothing is being imported. So let's take a look at the files. So you're gonna need this anyway. So files here are on the conf. So in here you're gonna have your Solar config, your schema, and your data. These are the ones that you most likely will be working with. Right, so in the data config.xml, we're gonna have to change our credentials to our MySQL instance. For example, we have to put root and no password. So once we save this file, we can go back to the web interface for the Solar search engine, and when we click data import and we execute, we see that we have fetched 37 documents. Now every row of data that we get is a document. Every file that we index with Solar is a document. It's going to be treated as a document. So whenever I say document, is a row of data. You can index JSON files, you can index doc word, you can index PDF, you can index XML, you can pretty much index whatever you want. And files that you need to learn how to work with is the schema file, which also is the one that contains the fields or the object attributes of what you're trying to construct. So in here it's going to say that the ID is where index is going to be indexed on this line right here, which is unique key ID. That means that it's going to search, it's going to index based on ID, and all the following fields are all the fields that you're going to retrieve from your database of whatever document you need to index. Now another important is the data config. Data config is the one that runs the query on your view, on your MySQL data, and match those fields. Is also an XML file. Match those fields with your schema and populate your schema. So this is very important whenever you want to include more fields or more columns to the index you're trying to do. You need to modify this file as well as a schema file, and you also have to redo the view because you need to modify more stuff in the view. So pretty much is whatever query you're going to do here is the one you're going to run on your view MySQL database. So we just index 36 documents. So let's take a look at that. So if I execute the query now, I get a response of all that I just indexed in a JSON format. You can change the format and say I don't want JSON, I want XML, and it's going to give it to you in an XML file. By far JSON is much easier to read. So let's do JSON, and you could say that you want to sort by type, and you want to sort ascending. Whenever you hit it, then it's by CIS. You can also group, or before that, let's just say that you want to just see certain fields such as type, ID, username, email, and that's just what's going to show you. And let's just put star so it show everything. And if you want to group, so here it is, it's group by titles. And now if you want to do facet, which is further refinement, you can do here as well. Email, let's facet by email. And I execute the query. If I go down to the bottom, you can see that I have 31 tests at cis.fiu.edu, and this will provide you further information down below, so you can facet even further down. Alright, this is Solar, so let's stop the Solar engine now. Control C to stop it, and you can close it. If you reload this site, it's not going to work. Just like that. So let's go ahead and do Selenium IDE regression testing. And this, I really suggest you to read the manual that I wrote down. It's kind of hard to do it the first time, but once you do it the first time, you're not gonna forget. Few files you need to actually get comfortable with is a JavaScript file named data source. I do not suggest you to upload this file, always encrypted, and put a password, because our Git repos are public and everyone can see this information. So here what I have is the username for our development and production environments, as well as the password. I have the admin password, I have some user password. There's some tests here that require valid Gmail's account, valid LinkedIn accounts. I would suggest you to use yours. So always keep your data protected and your credentials protected. Make sure that you read what this case needs some special attention, and read my instruction manual. So real quick, you need to download Selenium IDE plugin for Firefox. Google it up and download it. It's Selenium IDE. Once you click it, it's right here. So The other thing you need to do is you need to open the test suite for the regression testing, which is going to be on your newly created. So I'm going to go to demo, code, test, student actor, and all the way at the bottom is going to say student test suite. So that's the one that contains 44 test cases, which one test case actually contain more tests cases, but they're grouped by functionality. So the last four, I didn't pay too much attention of it, so if they fail, nothing's broken. Also the job search exploit and the job search no validation one, they should also fail. So let's take a look how you run this. A couple things here on your options. In here is the path for this, the data source.js that we just visited. It's always good to you to activate the developer tools. It's going to help you later on. One more thing is you need to save the state of your database before and running this test script, and then once you finish you can restore that back, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. So first of all, this always interacts with the virtual job fair dash development environment, and you can see it here at the top where it says, so the database that is going to be modified is the development version. Let's go there real quick and modify it. So this is my development. So if I go to, should be able to export a script file. Now this script file, usually when you import it, does not work because it doesn't drop the database. So what I do, I usually edit it and I type in what I typed in earlier, which is create database if not exist. I will save it like that, and that should work when you upload it and run it. So I just exported it. Now if I want to import it, I would choose a file. I have a sample file that I put on here, not there, but demo code test resources dump before. So if I upload that and I run it, my database changed completely, and I can run my test. Also, you have to make sure that on your browser you're logged out of Google, you're logged out of your, let's go to Google, you're logged out of Google, and if you go to virtual job fair PHP admin, you're also logged out of that one. Perfect, you're logged out of that one. So now we can run our test suite. So if I click here, run all the test cases, it's going to start running. Automated script. Now if you make a change in the interface, most probably the test is going to fail. Just have to come here, and if you added a new alert, a new JavaScript alert, or a new button that changed the ID, if you change the name, the ID name of some attributes in the view, then you're most likely going to have to update it on this test. Alright, then that's about it. I wish you the best in your summer 2015, and good luck. Thank you very much.